With a bold approach, Tin employs the King's Indian Defense orthodox variation against Begmuratov in this Asian Individual Chess Championships 2025 Open Round 8 match. On c4. Knight f6. Knight c3. On g6. On e4. On d6. On d4. Bishop g7. Knight f3. King castled kingside. We are now in the King's Indian Defense orthodox variation. Bishop e2. On e5. King castled kingside. Rook e8. Begmuratov intends to play. On takes d4. Knight takes d4. Knight takes e4. Knight takes e4. Rook takes e4 and put immense pressure on the opponent. On d5 played by Tin. On a5. Knight e1. Knight a6. Knight d3. Knight d7. Bishop e3. Tin intends to play. On a3. Knight ac5. Knight takes c5. Knight takes c5. Queen c2. On f5. On b4. Knight takes e4. Knight takes e4 and seizes the initiative. On f5 played by Begmuratov. On f3. Knight ac5. On b3. On b6. Rook b1. Knight f6. Knight takes c5. It is novelty move. On takes c5. On a3. Knight h5. On b4. Tin is aiming to play. On takes c5. On takes c5. Bishop takes c5 and seizes the initiative. On takes b4 played by Begmuratov. On takes b4. On takes b4. Rook takes b4. Knight f4. King h1. On h5. On c5. Rook a3. Threatening rook takes c3. Rook b3 played by Tin. Threatening rook takes a3. Rook takes b3 played by Begmuratov. Queen takes b3. Knight takes e2. Knight takes e2. On takes e4. On takes e4. Bishop a6. Threatening bishop takes e2. Queen c2 played by Tin. On takes c5. Bishop takes c5. Queen d7. Rook b1. Bishop f6. Knight g1. King g7. Bishop e3. Bishop b5. Rook a1. Bishop e7. Knight f3. Threatening knight takes e5. Bishop d6 played by Begmuratov. Knight g5. King g8. Queen b3. Rook b8. Knight e6. Tin wants to play. On h3. Queen e7. King h2. King h7. Rook a2. Queen e8. Rook b2. Queen h8. Bishop g5. Queen e8 and secure a stronghold in the game. Queen c8 played by Begmuratov. Bishop a7. Threatening bishop takes b8. Rook b7 played by Begmuratov. Queen e3. Tin is preparing to play. Queen h6. On c5. Bishop takes c5 and secure a stronghold in the game. Queen e8 played by Begmuratov. Queen h6. Threatening Queen g7 mate. Queen f7 played by Begmuratov. Threatening Rook takes a7. On h3 played by Tin. Tin is aiming to play Bishop c5. Rook b8. Bishop takes d6. On takes d6. Rook b1. On g5. Knight takes g5 and establish a winning position. Bishop d7 played by Begmuratov. Knight d8. Threatening knight takes f7. Rook takes a7 played by Begmuratov. Rook takes a7. Queen f1 check. King h2. Queen f4 check. Queen takes f4. On takes f4. King h1. On g5. Knight c6. Tin is preparing to play. On e5. On f3. On takes f3. Bishop takes h3. On takes d6 and establish a winning position. Bishop takes c6 played by Begmuratov. On takes c6. King f7. Rook a5. Threatening rook takes g5. King f6 played by Begmuratov. On h4. Threatening rook takes g5. On takes h4 played by Begmuratov. Rook takes h5. King e6. King g1. Bishop e7. Rook d5. Tin claimed a well-earned victory.